What's going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Thank you for joining me again for another video. So from my understanding, I think most of my viewers are like newer riders, novice riders who are looking into bikes that are, similar to what I've been riding since I started my channel. Bikes including the Duke 390 and obviously the Honda Rebel 500 here. It's also my understanding that 95% of you who are viewing my videos are still not subscribed to the channel. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and just invite anyone to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Leave a like, leave a comment on the video. I always appreciate your guys' feedback and your support. So back to my original point. From my understanding, a lot of people who watch the channel are newer riders, and there's some things about, riding a motorcycle that you might not know. So today I'm going to show you a neat little trick, and the trick I'm going to show you is how to upshift and also downshift your motorcycle without using the clutch at all. Now, you will still need the clutch, obviously, to take off while you're sitting still at lights. It does not make your clutch obsolete. You will still need it in most scenarios, but if you'd like to play around with this neat little trick, then by all means, it does no harm nor damage to your transmission. If you feel like you're going to do damage to your transmission, then by all means feel free, just don't try it. So there's a lot of things behind why this is possible, and just to make it kind of basic explanation for you guys, what happens is while you're shifting, there's a brief moment in time where there's no stress on the gears in the drive line, and during that time frame you're actually able to slip in or out of another gear without using the clutch, because everything is aligned just perfectly and there's no stress causing the gears not to be able to separate from each other and go into the next gear. Like I said, there's a huge explanation behind why this is possible, but I'm not really going to get into that. I just want to show you guys how to do it. So first, once we get rolling here, I'm going to show you how to do upshifts, and I'm going to hold all my fingers up in the air while I do this so you can see that I'm not lying to you and this is 100% possible. So right now I'm in third gear, but I want to go up to fourth. Okay, so when you're doing an upshift, all you have to do is let off the throttle and simultaneously lift up on the shifter like you normally would. So as soon as you let off the throttle, all the way off, it's a quick action. Just like that. Went into fifth, I'm going to go into sixth. You'll feel it just slip right into that next gear. And you can do that for every single gear. It doesn't matter. So if you want to play around with that and kind of make yourself feel cool, it's almost like you have a quick shifter, but you don't, because people with quick shifters, they don't have to let off their throttle. They can just, sit there and click up through the gears while holding the throttle wide open. The only difference is we can't hold our throttle wide open because we need to take the stress off of the gear. And the only way that we can do that is to relax the engine RPMs by briefly cutting off the throttle manually. Whereas people with an electronic quick shifter, they're going to have the electronic aid that cuts their ignition, which does all of that for them. So once we get going again, I'm going to do it, but this time I'm going to go like more towards wide open throttle. You can do this at pretty much any RPM. The only thing is, like I said, you just have to completely just let off the throttle really fast and shift simultaneously. So the gear will slip right into that next gear as soon as you let off the throttle. If you get the timing wrong, you can always try again, or just pull in your clutch, go to the next gear, and then try again on the next shift. Like, you can't be lazy about it. You have to like do it immediately, because if you let off the throttle and wait a second and then try to shift, it's not going to work, because now you're using engine braking and the stress is back on the transmission. All right, so we're taking off here. I'm going to go up to second. I'm going to give it some hard gas. I'm going to go up to third. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go up into sixth gear, and I'm going to show you how to go down in the opposite direction. Now, going down, you're still going to have to let off the throttle, but as soon as you let off the throttle, you need to blip it back, like a nice little blip, almost like this. Watch my hand. So I'm riding along, off blip, off blip. And what happens is you're raising the engine RPMs, because as you go down in gears, obviously the engine RPMs are going to raise. Well, the speed of the transmission and the speed of the engine need to match as you're going down, so you need to give it that blip in order to go down a gear. So a lot of times, bikes with aftermarket quick shifters, they usually are only unidirectional, because you need the function of an auto blipper to get the downshifts correct when it comes to, having the electronic aid portion of it. So a lot of bikes, like the KTM Duke 390, if you have the Powertronic ECU, The quick shifter for that ECU only goes in one direction. You can only shift up, because what it does is just cuts the ignition timing and you go up, but it doesn't have an auto blip feature built into it, so you can't go down. So once again, what we're going to do here is we're going to manually give it that blip that it needs. All right, so I'm going to go down from 6th to 5th right now. Off and blip. That's 4th. I know, you know, it might be a little hard to see, but it's just all about timing. You're definitely not going to use the downshifting, you know, the quick downshifting like that as often as you would the upshifting. The upshifting it's much easier to do as well. And there's not really a whole lot of scenarios that you really need to use this kind of thing for. I mean, I don't know, maybe one day you're riding along and your clutch cable snaps. It would be nice to know that, you know, you can still go up and down the gears without using your clutch. So you could make it further or to a destination if there was a catastrophic failure of your clutch cable or something like that. Alright, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I just want to do a nice, short, little sweet video for you guys before the 4th of July weekend. I'm on my way home right now. It's my last day of work until we're through with the holiday. So I'm going to enjoy some time off. You guys enjoy your time off, and I will see you guys in the next video.